Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel that takes you deep inside the San Francisco 49ers. I am your host, Jack Hammer. Today I want to give you my 3 questions that I think Kyle Shanahan needs to answer correctly for the 49ers here in 2023. And we're going to start with number 1, can he keep his starting quarterback healthy? And for the 49ers, it all starts here. You know, under Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers have had the same starting quarterback just one time, and that was in 2019. And what happened that season? They won the Super Bowl. And recent history in the NFL suggests that you need to keep that starting quarterback healthy if you're going to win the big game. 4 of the last 5 Super Bowl winners have had their starting quarterback play every game. That means every regular season game, every postseason game. The only exception to that was the Philadelphia Eagles when Nick Foles came in late and was able to pick up the Super Bowl there. But for the most part, you need to keep that starting quarterback healthy. And that is something that Kyle Shanahan has not been able to do. We saw that last year as he went through 3 quarterbacks as far as the starters, even getting Josh Johnson hurt in the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia. Number 2, can Kyle Shanahan manage the game? Now, for the most part, when you watch Kyle Shanahan throughout the season, he does a pretty good job of this. He does a good job of managing the game, staying true in terms of what he does, not getting, he's always going to be a little over-aggressive, but sometimes, he'll back things off. And I know there's some folks who think that he needs to be aggressive all the time. I'm not one of those. I think that there's times to pick and choose being aggressive. And I think for Kyle Shanahan in particular, when you look at managing the game, it's really in the postseason and these big games that I'm pointing to. So I'm talking like the 2016 game when he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. And instead of running the ball late, kicking a field goal to go up 11, he gets a little cute, calls a pass that ends up in a sack, and then that snowballs into a holding penalty. And the next thing you know, instead of putting points on the board to go up by 2 scores, you're punting the ball away and you end up losing the game. And that goes back to even 2019 as the head coach of the 49ers. That team had run through the Minnesota Vikings, had run through the Green Bay Packers to get to the Super Bowl. They were up 10 in the 4th quarter. And then for whatever reason, you have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing more than you're running. Now you're down by 4. And you open up that possession with Raheem Mostert on a big 17-yard gain, and then he never touches the ball again. It's first down, you get a couple of completions from Garoppolo to get you across midfield. You're at the Chiefs' 49-yard line, 1st and 10, and you throw the ball 4 straight times, ending with a sack, game over. Chiefs get the ball back and score, you're done. And then you go to this last season, the NFC Championship game out in Philadelphia, and I felt like that was a game heading into that one. You looked at that game and it's going to be a grinder. The 49ers are going to have to be patient. They're going to have to take their time. They're going to have to stay committed to the run. And what do you see happen? 6th play of the game, and the 49ers call a long, slow developing play action pass. And on top of that, you have a backup tight end blocking the best pass rusher on the best pass rushing team in the NFL. Brock Purdy ends up getting a torn UCL. Looks like it's over at that point. But it's not quite, because you're only down 14-7 late in the second half. And instead of just packing it in, running the ball a couple of times, going in at halftime down 14-7 to regroup, Kyle Shanahan decides that he wants to run a 2-minute offense with Josh Johnson. And you end up with a fumble that gets recovered by the Eagles. Touchdown right after that. 14-point game at halftime, you're done. And so for Kyle Shanahan, I think he needs to do a better job of managing the game. And then the last one is, can he win the big game? The first 2 things I talked about are things that he's going to need to do in order to win the big game. He needs to keep his quarterback healthy, and he needs to manage the game better. And if he does those things, I really think that he has a good chance of winning this game, because you look at the 49ers roster, they have one of the most talented groups in the NFL. They have one of the deepest groups in the NFL. And the biggest way that they're going to possibly not finish this season with a Lombardi trophy, in my estimation, is coaching. If that coach puts their quarterback in position and they have to go to a backup, maybe even the 3rd stringer, I don't think you see the same kind of results that you saw this year. And also, if Kyle Shanahan mismanages the game, whenever in the Super Bowl, if they get there, that's how they lose as well. So take it for what it's worth. Kyle Shanahan needs to make sure that he keeps his quarterback healthy, manages the game correctly, and then in the end, you got to win that big one. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like what you see here, please slam that like button for me, and after you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe as well. And if you're not already have your notifications on, turn those notifications on so you don't miss any of the updates right here on Inside the 49ers with Jack Hammer. Thank you all so much again for tuning in. Take care, and we'll be talking to you soon.